Hello and welcome to WNHH Radio's Dateline Hamden. I'm your host, Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines on the stories that make our community tick. Alicia Martindale and Lois Jason make Hamden tick.
Hello.
And dance. Alicia is the town's arts and marketing manager. In that role, she has put together a terrific summer of free Friday night outdoor concerts on the town green. I got that wrong?
We have put together a terrific.
Oh, that's right. She's done it with Lois Jason, a longtime member of the Arts Council
Commission.
Boy, I'm getting it all wrong here.
That's all right.
And we'll get it right by the time we're done. Here back and welcome back to the studio, Alicia. Welcome to the studio, Lois.
Tink you.
And we want to thank Yellow Haven
Pleasure.
Hospital for providing support for today's program. So we got a summer of free music on the green in Hamden.
Yes.
And this used to be when people used to think about, even though you've had them before, you had the high school, and you had the concerts, July 4th and all that, people kind of thought of free outdoor music, especially with this ethnic variety, like not the same thing every week, as a New Haven thing. Now it's a Hamden thing too. Is that new this year, or tell me about that?
I think that we have wanted for a long time to bring some different acts and performers to Hamden. We know that traditionally the Summer Hamden Free Concert Series has been kind of a nostalgia ride of
right, like 60s groups.
Yeah.
I love when they come back, like the Temptations. I don't know which one you had. No, they really had it, New Haven Temptations, where it's like at most one of the original members, maybe in their 80s, but otherwise it's people kind of dressed up the way they used to, playing the songs exactly the way they sound on the record. Yeah, that was
exactly.
Yeah.
So
time to move on. And at least if you don't mind getting real close to the mic, like you're almost touching it.
So with the platform that has been built over the past 30 years with the Hamden Arts Commission, we figured why not now provide something for everybody instead of one genre or one specific type of music or 1 year of music.
And everybody in Hamden has changed who everybody is, right? Hamden's changed.
Absolutely.
Lois, you're nodding your head. Tell me about that.
Well, I moved here in 1967 from, can't you tell, from Brooklyn. And I was used
My dad's from Brooklyn, yeah.
Erasmus Hall High School.
Yeah, he was from Bensonhurst.
Oh, okay. That's all right. And I felt very strongly I was involved in the arts in college and working. And my first job, you probably remember the name David Susskind.
Mm-hmm.
And that was live TV.
What'd you do on that show?
Not on his show. I worked in the office, and it was quite an experience at the time too. Right out of college to work there. But anyway, that was the days of live TV. I moved here, and I've always been very interested in the arts, and I studied to be a performer. I did modeling. I did all kinds of things. And when I moved here, there was a gentleman who suggested that I get involved. And I did. And 18 and a half years ago, I was appointed to the Arts Commission, because you have to be appointed. You just can't raise your hand.
It's a volunteer commission, and you've stayed the whole time.
Yes.
So you've given up nights of watching TV or taking walks with your folks to sit on meetings about how to bring arts to Hamden.
Right. I feel the arts are very important in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And I credit Alicia and Julie Smith and, of course, Mimsy Coleman. We want to bring a more diverse music genre to the people of the area. We get people who come from all over.
And Hamden's gotten more
Yes.
diverse. The school system now is majority minority, and there's definitely been democratic change. City demographic. Now, this past Friday, I just heard raves.
Oh,
People had the greatest time on the town green on the first of your 5 summer concerts.
right.
Free summer concerts. It was the Mandingo Ambassadors and Las Cafeteras.
Oh.
I'd seen Las Cafeteras at an immigration protest in New Haven last summer. They're quite good.
Oh.
And
They were amazing.
and one thing somebody said to me is I felt like it was New Haven. But Hamden's not New Haven. Hamden is
No.
its own community.
Right.
I honestly took that as a compliment.
It was a compliment. He said he had a
Oh.
great time. He goes to free stuff all the time in New Haven. He went to Hamden to be at this. He said this was just great.
Exactly.
It was.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
was.
New Haven's known for its diversity. It's known for its various diverse programs for everybody.
And cultural scene.
Cultural, something for everybody. why can't we do that in Hamden?
And actually, I think I've been noticing just over the years how Hamden and New Haven have sort of become one community in a lot of ways, distinct identities, but especially culturally. So now you have the complex there with the new iteration of the Space Ballroom and what was called the Rough Draft and another club where a
Right,
lot
right.
of groups, and it's not like New Haven musicians versus Hamden musicians. The area musicians play there and they play in downtown New Haven. They have a real crowd. I mean, they have big shows, sold out shows at the Space Ballroom. And then you have Best Video,
Hmm.
which
Ex-
went
yes.
more from being just a video store to now being a cultural center where a lot of performances. Again,
Yes.
there's no known real boundary. It might be on a map, New Haven, Hamden, but same musicians, same crowd.
Exactly, and so that's
And
why
now you got the
we're-
Whitneyville Commons, which is
Mhm.
also a big
Yes.
addition, which has had a lot of events of all different, from food to like spirituality to performance, and
Yep.
so it's really happening in the town. The
there
town
is so much happening in Hamden, and not everybody knows the
Right.
depth of what's happening. So that's why we're trying to really push. How about Hamden?
How about Hamden?
You know.
And Alicia,
Yes.
how about your title in Hamden? I said, got it right, Arts and Marketing Manager.
Yes.
Is that a town job in the government?
Correct.
And how long you had that?
I've been working for the town for the past 5 years, and I just came on full time this past year.
And did you grow up in the town?
I did.
All right. So what was it like growing up in Hamden? What did you do for fun? Did you go to New Haven or did you hang in Hamden?
There was always a lot to do, I think, in Hamden. I grew up playing baseball and softball, but for Greater Hamden baseball team and also the Hamden High School, and I always was in all of the public installations, the public art installations in the Hamden Plaza.
Yeah, I love those with the sunken cars and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I always kind of knew that that was something special.
It was.
So growing up in that community and kind of now serving that community in this capacity, I feel like I am able to offer both what I have known and what I can now bring in with the help of all of the communities around us.
All right, and you talk about, I'm looking at the lineup you have. So these concerts take place on Friday night.
Correct.
The opening acts go at 7:30 and the headliners at 8:15.
Mhm.
And the Town Center Park at 2761 Dixwell. So next week you do have a little bit of nostalgia act next week. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
No,
You got
there's nothing wrong with the
No.
nostalgia acts at all.
A guy
no.
on tour with Billy Joel. Oh, currently on tour, so it's not a tribute act. It's his own thing.
It is.
It's Mike Del Guidici. I never heard of him.
So his
Yeah.
name is Mike Del Judas. He
Del
is
Judas.
Yep.
Okay.
He's a multi-instrumentalist and vocalist in Billy Joel's band right now. He currently tours with him all over the place. And so he's taking time out of his tour with Billy Joel to come and perform here in Hamden.
Oh, and he's with the tribute band Big Shot. For
Big
Billy
Shot.
Joel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But then you got the Wailers. You got reggae on July 19th.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep, I'm looking forward to that one.
Me too.
That is Julian Jr. Marvin. He was one of the original members of Bob Marley's band, and this is his
Wow.
Wailers.
Wow, that sounds awesome. And then here's you got a big act. You got 10,000 Maniacs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that gets you a big crowd to begin with.
That's gonna-
10,000 to
yeah.
build on. Yeah.
I think that we're.
So and that's Natalie Merchant still is in the band?
No, she left around 1992, 1993.
Boy, I'm out of it, aren't I? Okay. Look, I'm still
See?
thinking about David Susskind.
This is why we're updating you.
All right, and they do
welcome to
indie
modern
rock.
culture.
So how did you come up with this selection of bands? Like, did you guys have commission meetings say whom should we get, or did you say at least you go get us a good diversity of bands?
We have a group of commissioners that will meet. We're a committee, we'll say, for the summer concert series, as we have a committee for our Sunday series,
Mhm.
which I want to talk about when you're finished
Tell
with
me
this.
about the Sunday series.
The Sunday series primarily caters to, I don't want to use the word senior, to the mature people in Hamden.
To us,
Yes, exactly.
not to Alicia.
And, no.
Although she's welcome.
They've got some stuff for me. I've enjoyed some of those Sunday
And
series.
I have been kind of pushing to get the people who attend to get out of their comfort zone, and to have some local innovative groups that will play music that they enjoy. And may I mention a group I'm trying to get?
Mention.
David Chevin.
Oh, Afro-Semitic Experience. I don't know if you noticed what music was beginning the show. That was the Afro-Semitic Experience. We play it every day. That's the best band.
Oh, they are.
Not just local, but he's from Hamden. It's a
I
Hamden
know.
Haven
I
band.
know. I
Yeah,
know.
he's our
him.
intro and outro music every day.
Yeah, yeah. And so we try very hard to please the older residents, but also kind of shake them up a little bit, maybe have something that they have to expand their outlook. Let's put it that
How
way.
about Hamden, which we're talking about here with Alicia Martindale and Lois Jason of the Arts Commission in Hamden. And so just tell me, how many people did you get at the first concert?
Sure. Real quick, it's the Hamden Arts Commission and the Hamden Department of Arts and Culture.
Okay.
We did have a little bit of a smaller crowd than our typical one, but we still had several thousand.
Excellent.
I think it was reported that there was only several hundred, but in reality, it was several thousand that we did have.
And it's the quality of the music that counts, too. I
Oh.
mean, several thousand people listen to Los Cafeterias. I told you, people, it wasn't just one person. People was great. And you can listen to some music, by the way, on the New Haven Independent website. We reviewed the show and did have video from it. So people
And we
can-
Thank
have wonderful food trucks
Mhm.
and all kinds of food and offerings. And we get a big crowd. I mean, I know I personally stood online at one of the trucks for 20 minutes to
And what'd
get
you
my
get?
dinner. It was tacos and, that
How were
stuff.
they?
It
So
was terrific.
It was worth the wait. And you got to
Um,
talk to people. So you also got some sponsors. The main sponsors are Quinnipiac, University, Liberty Bank, and Hamden Chiropractic. What's the total budget for these concerts?
I think that we get.
It's not much.
I honestly don't handle the financial part of that.
Okay.
Like, if
but
you
you do have
wanted-
to pay the performers. Like
Yeah.
10,000 Maniacs don't come free.
No,
or
no,
Big Shot.
no,
Billy
no.
Joel.
Yeah, those are about. We try to keep it in the 25,000 range per band because
Mhm.
we can't.
But that's
Go
still a lot of
crazy.
money to have to go
Well,
raise.
Yeah.
We negotiate if a band is, we'll say, coming through this way
Mhm.
and they're not performing at one of the casinos,
Oh.
we can get
That makes
them.
sense. That's how Cafe 9 gets all these great bands. Yeah, it's just worth they're on the road anyway, so they
Yeah.
don't have to get as
Yeah.
much money.
So-
Well, I think How About Hamden is a great idea, a great slogan.
Oh,
So
sure.
thanks for telling us about it. Isn't that what you said earlier?
Yes, how about
Okay.
Hamden? So that's
How
what we're,
about
that's what we're
Hamden?
going for. So we were definitely excited to have Les Cafeterias come and have their message of positivity and inclusion in our summer series. We know that it was a little different than what we're used to, but at the same time, if you look back at all the other bands that we have had, Marshall Tucker had kind of a conservative message that they were giving out. Gloria Gaynor had a gospel message that she intertwined in her show. Las Cafeterias had their message of inclusion. How about Hamden? Why can't we have that there?
All right. Well, you're going to have the Wailers. You're going to have 10,000 Maniacs. You got Mike
Bill Judas.
Del Judas. And that's, remember, folks, so that's what you're doing every Friday night this summer.
And we pass the bucket
Through July.
because it's free admission.
Right.
And that is one of our big fundraisers. So, when people tell me how wonderful everything is, I said, well, please, can you make a contribution?
All right.
And that we raise money that way too. So,
Well, the arts are
So-
alive. So Friday
Oh,
nights
yeah.
through July, 7:30 p.m., Hamden Town Center, 2761 Dixwell Avenue. Be there or be square. I want to thank Alicia Martindale and Lois Jason. Thanks for coming
Thank you
on
for
today.
having
thank
us.
you. Thank you.
It was
for
a pleasure to
having
have
us.
you. And
Thank
keep
you.
going with the great concerts and the great Sunday
do.
series, and we'll have more for the fall.
And
Thank you.
don't forget the children. We have children's programs on Saturdays.
Okay. Actually, we wrote about some of those. Yeah, those are good. All right. So we're going to ask you to sit tight for a few minutes as we listen to David Chevin and Warren Bird and the Afro-Semitic Experience with their song, I Wish I Knew How It'd Feel to Be Free, from the group's CD, A Plea for Peace. Thanks to New Haven Hospital for providing support for today's program. We're going to take a little break and come back with Amber Moye, who's running for the Board of Education in New Haven.
Oh, good
So,
for her.
Thanks for hanging with us, folks. Hang tight for 5. We'll be right back at you on WNA Dutch, New Haven's home for community radio.